All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. If you're tuning in, really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join this webinar. My hope is that you will receive a benefit and learn something that you didn't know, something that can help your business. Yeah, let's get into it together. I know some people are probably still joining. The count keeps going up, but we can get started. And Aaron is, you can call him my mod. So he is going to be just providing you guys a link actually here at the beginning to something of a survey, kind of some questions that I want to help facilitate some discussion. And so he'll be sending that out to you guys in the chat here shortly. I see it there. So thank you, Aaron, for sharing that. It doesn't look clickable to me, so you might have to copy that. I don't know. You might have to copy that link and then paste it in your browser. But at any rate, go ahead and we can go question by question. You don't have to fill it all out now, right? As we go through this presentation, we will be coming to one question at a time. So without further ado, I believe you guys can see my screen here. Hopefully that's the case. Please let me know if you can't. So what we're going to discuss here is really how to build a strong online foundation and just convert more, right? This is the goal. All right, so who am I? I'm a digital marketing engineer at Thrive, over 13 years experience in digital marketing. You can see their website development, search engine optimization, Google and Bing ad management, social media marketing, online reputation management, sales and marketing automation. And as far as just people involved in the consulting side of Thrive, I'm one of the longest tenured here. So helped all kinds of businesses, really thousands over the course of my time here at Thrive. So proud of that, definitely. So now that we've got my credentials out of the way, let's just move forward. So really, I understand that probably a lot of you, if not all of you, have a website, but I'm starting a little bit before that, just to talk through what I like to call your digital HQ, right? You don't have a website, it's hard to talk about the marketing, digital marketing, right? So it is your digital HQ. So one question in that link that you've been sent, the first question is really, are you currently happy with your website, right? There's three options there, yes, or it could be better, or just I need a new website, right? I mean, believe me, people that reach out to Thrive, sometimes in preparing for a meeting, right, I see this website and that's what I'm saying. This person needs a new website. So if that's where you are, that's okay, right? You have to start somewhere. Better never stops, right? That's what we like to say here at Thrive. So getting into this, your business must have your website. It's your global headquarters, right? I love this. For many prospects, it's your first destination or only destination in their journey to becoming your customer. It's your lobby, it's your front door, right? It's everything to many of your customers. 71% of small businesses in the US have a website. That's great. There's still 29% that don't. So just an interesting fact there. Still a lot of opportunity for businesses to expand. 70 to 80% of people research a company online before visiting that small businesses or making a purchase from them. So this is just the way of life, right? Today, everybody is online, right? We say, have you Googled that, right? This kind of a thing. Just Google it. This is just a way of life for us in 2020. 48% of people cited a website's design as the number one factor in deciding the credibility of a business. Once your page loads, users form an opinion in 5 seconds, right? And we all know how opinionated everybody is, and it definitely plays a part in what they think about your business. Aaron, who's actually on here as my mod, he is our creative director, and he definitely is always saying design matters. Design matters. It could make the difference, honestly, between someone choosing you and the competition. So definitely a big point to make there. Beautiful thing about a website is you don't have to invest $20,000. Granted, I mean, just the other day I quoted a $95,000 website, but the vast majority of sites out there, right? You don't have to spend $20,000 anymore, even to get a custom design site. So just to move on here, really, I wanted to address this. I'm going to move through this quickly just in case there's someone here that doesn't have a website, but you can take a DIY approach, right? As little as $14 per month, you can subscribe to a Wix or Squarespace, right? You've seen these out there or heard their commercials or something. You can choose a pre-designed template where you can customize it yourself, drag and drop, right? There's professional tools there, such as an online scheduling system still. You publish your website and you go live, right? So these are some of the services that offer that. This is great for just starting out. But in reality, many people come to us, even at Thrive, where they have this, but they need to take it to the next level in design or in functionality, right? So to move on, there's a middle ground. If your site, if you said it could be better, or I need a new website, there is a middle ground without you having to go out and do this, figure it out yourself. You could choose pre-designed themes, right? So you can use platforms such as WordPress, select a pre-designed theme, and then you configure it, right? And just set it up to really match your business. Really, you just have to be okay with non-exclusive website design. It's not unique to your business, and there's limitations when it's like you have a house and I want to knock down this wall for an open concept, but you can't because it's a load-bearing wall, right? There's that kind of a limitation with your pre-designed themes, which is why. But so it's a smaller investment. You need if you need functionality that's not available on the Wix, or Squarespace, it's a great option, right? It's also a low barrier to go live. WordPress, why do I mention WordPress? Just a quick note there. You can see they dominate what's called the content management system, or CMS. So it's a platform that you could use. Just a little extra tidbit of info there. So that's why we at Thrive use WordPress, and that's why it's something that I honestly would recommend for anybody. Custom design website. This is another option, right? If you need a new website, if it could be better, it's designed for your business. You have a direct communication with the web team, right? You work with the project manager. You have a custom design, multi-step design process there. So that's really the website. I just kind of wanted to cover that because it's so important. You have to start there. Everything else that follows, you have to first consider your website. Are you currently happy with your website? So this next slide, if you build it, what's the expression, right? Anybody in chat? Does anybody know? If you build it, what? It will come. They will come, right? That's the expression. And this is not true for digital marketing. If your business website does not have exposure online, you are at a competitive disadvantage. Just let that sink in for a little bit. You are at a competitive disadvantage. Your business is at a competitive disadvantage. I imagine you don't like the sound of that, right? So what is this image here? This is Prada Marfa. Pretty sure I'm saying that right. So many of you probably know what this is, but it was an art project. Actually, it wasn't actually done by Prada, but it was an art project out in the middle of the desert, right? Stocked with actual real Prada products, and just it's in the desert, right? So that if it was Prada and they were building this structure there, that'd be foolish, right? That is exactly what it's like if you have a website and you're not investing to grow your business, to get that exposure to your website, this is your situation, right? So we might laugh at this, but it's just, again, something to consider. If you have a website, we don't want to be lost in the desert of the internet. So people are looking for your business online, right? They are. They are looking for your business online right now, every day. And so we're going to talk about the search engine here, right? This is a great way to build a strong online foundation for your business. 46% of searches on Google have local intent. So even if you're a local business, there is room for you to have exposure on the search engine. Local searches lead 50% of mobile users to visit stores within 1 day, right? Huge for mobile users. 72% of consumers who did a local search visited a store within 5 miles, right? So that local intent is definitely there within the search engine. And people search many different ways. 50% of search queries are 4 words or longer. Even though there's certain keywords, like maybe, this is one I always like to use as an example, red shoes. I really want to rank for red shoes. Well, that's great, but maybe red high heel shoes, right? Or red fluffy shoes, something like this. It's just easier to rank for. There's not as much competition there, right? So this is what I mean by 4 words or longer, although the examples I gave were 3 words. At any rate, why invest to rank higher? I'm not going to say it. There's a joke about hiding something on the second page of Google, but at any rate, if you're not on the first page, if you're not in the top 5 positions, really, and that's why we say beyond the 5th position here, click-through rate drops dramatically. You can see that in the graph. If you're not at the very top, people don't click on your link to your website, right? And so this is why it's always this is why we want to pursue that top placement. So there's a few things here. I'm going to skip through this, but speed, something called schema data, right? Metadata, on-page elements, image optimization. There's a lot of things that go into SEO. We're just going to move through that quickly. By the way, there is a question that I kind of missed a little bit here. So if you want to answer that question, can you be found when someone searches for your products or service, right? The answers there are either yes or I am invisible to my customers. So something to consider, right, if we're trying to build a strong online foundation. So content is king. Jumping back to what goes into search engine optimization. Original, informative, authoritative content, one of the primary ways a site can build its rankings in Google. You think about it, someone asks Google a question, right? And then what? Google has to give them an answer. Where are they finding that answer? It's in your content, right? So even after content exists, right, you also need to build out breadth and depth and talk all about that particular subject, right? You can see here that word count actually has a direct correlation with the amount of traffic that your website or that web page might receive. So yes, long content ranks better. So content is definitely a part, we can say assuredly, content is a part of Google's algorithm. Even though we don't know it for sure, we do know that, right? There are some things we know, even though the real algorithm is locked in a box somewhere in Google. So deep content. Content should have depth. So what does that mean? Once it's there, once you have a keyword, explore the subject with more depth. Look at this. Here's speaking of content writing services. Look at the many different ways, and these are just a small sample of the ways people search for content writing services using different keywords, right? And so this is part of the reason why we needed to explore that subject in more depth and continue to write about it in different ways, using different keywords, etc. Links is if someone has a website and they like what you have in your content and they point to you with a link, that helps you out. That helps you rank higher. And so this is just a fancy graph here to show, you can see these kind of 3 areas right here basically these are all related to links, and that's over 65%. And so links definitely play a big part in moving your rankings up higher. So that's enough about search engine optimization, but definitely something that you want to pay attention to. This is just the way of life. People go to Google to search for things. Now, related to that as well, you can pay to be at the top of Google, right? Without doing SEO. You can pay, kind of renting that space, not owning it, which is what SEO would give you, but you can rent that space from Google and pay them every single time someone clicks on it. You can also, if you have products, do Google Shopping. You can put ads on websites that use Google to make revenue from ads. You can target them once they come to your site and go somewhere else. You can follow them around the web with remarketing. You can promote your app for some downloads, and you can also run YouTube ads, right? YouTube is another type of search engine, but you can put video ads on YouTube all through the extensive Google ad network. So question 3 is, how much revenue do you think Google made in 2019 from their ads? I like asking this question, and you'll see a graph later on that answers it, but many people come to me and they say, I don't want to pay Google. I don't want to pay Google. I want to rank myself. Absolutely agree with that, but we also should be paying Google. Google's ad revenue has increased year after year, with the exception of 1 year where they dipped down. And why is that happening? Because businesses that are paying Google, right, they are seeing a return and they're continuing to invest or investing more, right? So just to go through the stats on Google Ad Network, an average between 15 to 30% of the engagement on a search engine results page, they're clicking on the pay-per-click ads. Yes, I know, you skip the ads, so do 70 to 85% of people out there, but 15 to 30% of people are clicking on the ads. That's like saying, I only want to enjoy this part of the pie, not the whole pie. Well, we can't ignore this 15 to 30%, right? Especially if you're not at the top right now and there's some work ahead of you to get there. This is a great option. So I love this stat. Google display ads, these are kind of like banner ads or online billboards, you could think of them in that way, are seen by 90% of internet users. You want to reach the masses? Google display ads. You will reach 90% of the people that are on the World Wide Web. Pretty striking number there. Website visitors who are retargeted with display ads are more likely to convert by 70%. So you're doing all this work, maybe even offline work to have a billboard up or a radio ad and some digital marketing to get people to your website. But then is that where it stops? You're just like, I hope they convert. Or do you have another message, another tactic to follow them, to bring them back, to get them to actually call you if they didn't the first time they reached your website? Well, if you do display ads and retargeting, that you're more likely to get that person to convert by 70%. Pretty striking. So probably a lot of opportunity there for anybody that's even still doing digital marketing on this call. The average click-through rate of video ads, right? YouTube, let's not forget about that, is 1.84%. That's actually the highest click-through rate out of any digital ad format. So that's pretty interesting. People just connect, they engage with video. There's emotion there, right? To tell a story. So Google's ad revenue, here it is. Since 2000, 2001? My screen has a little thing over it. Since 2001, right, it's been increasing except from, where is it? Where is that? There's a dip somewhere here. Maybe not. Maybe there isn't a dip. I might have misread this previously, but check that out. This is in billions of dollars, by the way, billions with a B. And Google has just seen an increase in revenue. It's phenomenal, the growth that they've seen there. They wouldn't be making $134.81 billion last year if this wasn't working for a business, right? We have some clients that are spending $1 million a month on Google Ads because it generates a return on investment, right? Of course, you don't have to start there. You can start with just a couple $1,000s and see some good results. So you need leads yesterday. That's really the point of Google Ads. You can see this blue graph here. Where search engine optimization, ranking higher in the search takes some time, takes some steady effort. It's like planting a tree, but you don't, a fruit tree, but you don't have that fruit, right away. You have to wait a couple years. Of course, you don't have to wait a couple years for SEO, but you have to wait some time before that fruit is the tree bears fruit, right? When it's the first year, no fruit, second year, no fruit, right? And I think it's the third year for many fruit trees that you start to get some fruit. So in the meantime, right, while we're improving the SEO search engine effort, we can advertise and be at the top and get customers, right? You need leads yesterday. So social media, and I know I'm moving fast here, but I think we have to in order to get through all this. There's really a lot to talk about when it comes to building your strong online foundation, converting more. So question 4 for social media, on which, and by the way, that link is in the chat. Maybe Aaron, you could chat it again just in case some people have joined later. But question number 4 is on which, so there's the link, everybody just chatted. On which social media channels can you target a CEO? Which social media channels can you target CEOs? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Or is it all of the above? Just give you guys a second to think about that. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or all of the above to target a CEO? One would think the answer is just LinkedIn. And while that is correct, you can actually target a CEO on Instagram and Facebook. How, you might ask? Well, because you can't target by job title on those platforms. Imagine this. You run some campaigns on LinkedIn targeting CEOs, right? You get them to your website. And then maybe there's other ways you also reach CEOs through a pay-per-click campaign that's targeting the C-level, right, type person and so on. They get to your website. They don't reach out. They don't call you. Then they go home. And yeah, CEOs get on Instagram and Facebook, right? They're not above that. Actually, many of them are there. So you can retarget, right? You can follow them on these B2C, business to consumer type, or just like it's just a social media platform. They're just there to engage and have fun with their friends and their family, right? But you can actually reach them again when they're at home, right? When they're not at work, and you can just softly remind them of this great service or product that you have that's going to help their business, right? And so there's a lot of creative ways to use social media. I only bring up this example because many are like, yeah, social media is not for me. Well, you're missing that opportunity when that C-level or the business owner is relaxed on their couch, on their phone. Believe me, yeah, Matt Bowman here at Thrive, I think he might be on this call, but I know for a fact that he's on his phone, even researching for his business, but when he's there just relaxed on Facebook and Instagram, you can still reach him, right? This type of a thing. So, okay, enough about that. A few stats on social media. The average American spends, over 2 hours per day on social media. Just to bring it up, with the shelter in place, right, that we're all experiencing right now, this has dramatically gone up, right? And so, frankly, there is a lot of opportunity here for a lot of businesses. And I don't mean to belittle the situation we're all in. It's very serious. But we've seen many clients that have gone up in their performance, etc., right, from their social media campaigns, just because their business can benefit quite a bit from reaching these masses that are on social media, and it's something that is not affected, right, by what we're going through right now. So enough about that. 88% of 18 to 29-year-olds, right? 18 is usually when I think you can get a credit card. It might be 16 or something. But anyways, 18 to 29-year-olds say they use social media, right? So a great way to reach the consumer there. That's where most of them are. 53% of businesses have implemented social advertising into their strategies. It's a decent number, right? I think it should be higher. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, right, for that strong online foundation to generate more leads, generate more sales, convert more. This is very interesting and just something to note, right? You may say, I've been doing social media for a long time, and yeah, it doesn't work. Well, let's just use Facebook as an example. 2 to 6% of your fans on Facebook will see your organic posts if there is not an advertising on top of your posting effort. An advertising spend is probably what that should say. So just posting, just being social is the phrase I like to use, is not enough, right? You have to market. You have to run some ads as well. You have to do both of these things, right, in order to see success on social media. So 2 takeaways. This is kind of a little bit redundant to what I just said, but you can't always be selling. So it's a little bit of the flip side of what I just said. If you're just running ads, not the biggest impact. It can work, right? You can see an ROI, but you have to be social on social media. Imagine that, right? Why are people on there? They are on social media to be social, right? And so as a business, you have to find a way to be social with your customers. You can't just pitch them on social media. They don't like that. And it doesn't work as well. You're not going to have as much of an ROI. So invest in being social, right? Somebody on your team, an agency to take care of that for you so that you can connect with your audience. As a business, in addition to your posting efforts, you must also invest in paid social media ads. And I'm just saying, or you are wasting your time, right? You're spinning your wheels, you're treading water, you're not going anywhere. So you really need both of these things when it comes to social media. Video tells your story and communicates your brand. Okay? The question number 5 says, consider this. And you don't have to give an answer to this question, but why should someone make the decision to do business with your company? Why? Right? What are you telling them? Yeah, you might have some words on the website. You might have a couple images that tell your story, but nothing is going to tell your story quite like video will. It's honestly one of my favorite pieces to a strong online foundation, because I believe that it might have the best ROI out of anything that you could do. It keeps on giving, right? You might argue that search engine optimization could have a better ROI, but I think just for the amount of money that you spend on a video, it has a huge return. And so it tells your story, communicates your brand with emotion, with feeling, right? With just allows someone to connect to you. Imagine if you have a video and your competition doesn't, right? It's pretty big differentiator there as to kind of what they know about your company. So we're going to take a moment after we cover a few stats on video just to look at an example of what maybe an about us or why choose us type video could have a good impact on your business. So first, if you have text and video on a web page, 69% of users will prefer to watch the video to learn about your product or service. I don't want to read that 200-word paragraph that you have on your homepage. I just don't want to do that. But if I see a video, first thing I'm doing, and many others out there, 69% of users, will click that play button and watch that video. Then they might skim your content, right? They might read it as well. But most of your users are going to want to just click that video if you offer it. Having a video on your website or landing page can increase your conversion rate by 80%. Pretty incredible stat there. Almost makes you want to like say, where did that stat come from? It's really a really big increase to your conversion rate. I mean, it's almost doubling your chances to get that person to call you or fill out a form. Quite incredible. All of these stats, by the way, are from vetted sources, so you can trust them. If you trust me, you can trust them. The average user spends 88% more time on a website with video. Why is that? Well, number one, as soon as they hit play, however long that video is, if it's not too long, you have their attention, right? And then once they've watched it, probably they have an extra interest, right? And they're combing through your site a little bit more. So this is probably a big reason why you can increase your conversion rate by 80%, because the user just spends more time on your website. More chance for them to make that decision to click the button to fill out a form or decide to give you a call. So here's a video. The sound should be coming through. I really hope it works. We did test it before this. It's about 2 minutes long, not very long, but this is a roofing company. I mean, besides reviews, how do you choose one roofing company over another? It's just a roof, right? So let's watch this together. Okay, let's try that again.
If it's time to replace your roof, Quick Roofing has refined processes in place to make this super simple. The first step is an honest evaluation. Either there's damage or there's not. If there's damage, then a claim is made. And then once a claim is made, the adjuster will come out. They'll make their assessment as well. Many times we're able to meet with the adjuster. This is a mutual relationship. We're very good with the adjusters. Once a settlement is made, our professional will also put together an estimate at that point. And once contract is signed, we get to go to the fun part, which is actually creating, potentially even a new look for your home. The first encounter that you're going to have from the project manager would be the night before the job happens, so that they would be calling you to introduce themselves to you, understand the mode of communication that best fits you. We're going to move on to the next day, obviously, where material is being delivered. Project manager arrives on site. The project manager is there to ensure both safety, organization on the job site, and the product that Quick Roofing offers. We want to ensure that the experience is great. Typically, most jobs would take within a week to complete all phases of the project.
We show up first thing in the morning. Our roofers are here at 7 o'clock. We're knocking on the door to let the homeowner know that we're here, and then the material will follow behind. Our project manager, which shows up at the same time, he also gets inside the attic to make sure that the AC lines and the gas lines are not touching the decking. That way, when we're nailing through, we're not hitting it, and then we don't want somebody not to have air conditioning in the summer. So that's things that we do that I don't think anybody else does is checks for that. Once that's done, they will get it nice and neat. And from there, they start to tear down the roof, all the way from taking off all the way down to the deck to inspect the decking. As the roofing process goes, there's someone always on the ground that's cleaning up, trying to keep it as neat as possible, which is hard to do in construction. When we walk off the job, we want them smiling. We want them happy and satisfied that, hey, what I paid for is what I got, which is a great roofing job.
So hopefully that made a point, right? I feel comfortable now. I like this company, right? It's not just the roof. It's not just the product. The video reminds me of, the TED Talk of the why, right? The why of your business, right? You can really bring the why out, why someone should choose you, right? You got this company that does roof, this company does a roof. Why choose one or the other? So it's the power of video. Highly recommend it for your strong online foundation. Literally, you do nothing different. You just put a video on your website, right? You're going to see a lot better results. Okay, so your online reputation matters. Another question, number 6. Consider this. How many online reviews does your business have, and how many does your competition have? Right? Does your competition have a lot more reviews than you do? Even if you're in a business where, let's just say it's industrial manufacturing, this kind of thing. I mean, how many people leave a review about an industrial manufacturing company? Not that many. But if you had 10 and your competition had 0 or 1, makes a difference, right? You can point to those reviews. You can point to the difference, the deficit that your competition has to you. And we've had businesses tell us when we help them with their reviews, their online reputation, that I love this quote. I specifically chose your company, even though it was more expensive, because of your online reviews. Rest my case. So a few stats for online reputation and reviews. 88% of the online shoppers, so this is products, but online shoppers, they read reviews to determine the quality of a local business. Online reviews have been shown to impact 67% of purchasing decisions. This is Amazon has changed the game, right? And of course, there's some naysayers, and that's fine, who say, yeah, I mean, there are some paid reviews and this and that. It's true. There are some of that going on, but overall, this is how I choose my auto mechanic, right? This is how I choose who I do business with. Otherwise, what option do I have, right, to evaluate a company, right? This is really the best way to do it. 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation, right? Oh, you should definitely go to this auto mechanic. They treat you really well, right? They don't swindle you. They're you can just trust them, right? This kind of a thing. If I were to tell you that and you're my friend, right, you're probably going to go there. Well, that's the same impact that 84% of people feel with the reviews. 74% of consumers say that positive reviews make them trust a local business more. Trust, right? They're only going to fill out that form when they reach that certain threshold of trust, right? So I love this because maybe they see your reviews before they even come to your website. So already that potential customer is inclined to reach out to you before they even learn anything more about your business. They found you, they see your reviews, it entices them to click, and they already have a certain level of trust, right? Before they come to your website where you're telling them how great you are. So that's a huge piece to a strong online foundation. It actually impacts your search engine optimization that we talked through previously and so on. So I put this next section in here because I just wanted to make the point that there's a lot that can be done, but it doesn't stop there. The better never stops, right? Measure, right? Improve. Optimize. So less than 30% of small businesses even use website analytics or call tracking. In other words, they're spending money and not even, I think it's working. The phone's ringing, right? This kind of a thing. You don't have to do that. It's probably digital marketing is probably the easiest medium to track how it's working, right? So definitely we want to measure and improve. 18% of small businesses admit to not tracking anything, not even that their phone calls are, just like, okay, I do online marketing, I invest in marketing, that's it, that's where it stops. So there's a wealth of data. Gender, it's out there. Yeah, there's privacy, but there's a lot of stuff out there. Demographics, generally how much you make, right? Where you're coming to the website from. I mean, and this is just the beginning. There's so many different ways to segment it, compare the data, right? I mean, merge it. How many females are coming from Texas, right? This kind of a thing. Pretty neat stuff. What time of day did they come? All these kinds of things that can, even what time of day was the cheapest to advertise. So anyways, I'm just going to stop because I could keep going. At a high level, when it comes to measuring the number of leads that your digital marketing efforts are generating, there's two primary methods that you should be tracking. So number one, as far as a website's concerned, is form inquiries, right? Recommend Google Analytics. It's free. It's free to use and a wealth of data. But you want to at least know, if I'm spending this money, how many people are filling out a form to contact me, right? You can get a cost per lead, right, from this. Of course, if you're an e-commerce business, right, you're tracking sales ultimately. Throw that in there. But the other one's calls, right? And you can use call tracking software, which is really neat. Even with offline, you throw up a billboard, you have a number on there. How do you know how many people called you from that billboard? Well, you have a certain number that forwards to your main line, and it's a call tracking number. You can say, I put this billboard up, 1,000 people called me in this particular month from this billboard, this specific billboard located in this spot. Same with digital marketing, right? We're running an ad campaign with Google Ads on YouTube. And we're targeting, with this video, this ad video, we're targeting all the different states. You can know, for when we segment that campaign, set it all up, this particular form came from the YouTube advertising where we were targeting Texas, specifically Austin, and it depends on what's available based on privacy, but that, they're a male, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty good insights that you can have there for both phone calls and form inquiries. And the whole point is to continually improve your results. So convert more. This is the latter part of the title, right, of this webinar, how to build a strong online foundation and convert more. So conversion rate optimization is the key here, right? CRO for short. And here's the sad story. The average number of form fields, right? How many fields you have to fill out to reach out to a business? The average number is 11. So it's a true story. I see that. I was going to fill it out, but maybe not. Maybe tomorrow, something like this, right? Of course, this is getting better, right? People are starting to understand more, but this is something that could definitely be improved. A typical website conversion rate is about 2.35%. I mean, it could be as high as 30, 40%, just depending on the product and so on. But usually it's safe to say, I'd say between 2 to 5, maybe 2 to 10% for most of the companies that we engage with. Here's the deal though. Let's say you're at 2%. If we can move that from 2 to 4, let's say you get 100 leads a month. If we just get it to where twice as many people convert from 2 to 4%, now just by tweaking your website, now all the same ad budget, all the same marketing efforts that you've been doing have twice the return on investment, right? Twice the amount of leads. So it's definitely something that I want to highlight. Let's last but not least, because you can see a huge impact in your business by paying attention to your website conversion rate. 53% of mobile website visits are abandoned if a mobile site takes longer than 3 seconds to load. For every 1 second delay in site load time, conversions fall by 12%, right? Bounce right back to Google or however they came to your site, right back to social media, move on, right? Find the next guy that find your competitor whose site loaded quickly. So that's by the way, site load speed also impacts your rankings. So it's also something even related to search engine optimization that you want to pay attention to. So your website can be improved, right? Look at your competition, right? Competitor analysis, reverse engineer, mimic but improve. Heat maps, scroll maps, user recordings. There's more type of analytics you can install. And you can see where people are clicking, where their mouse is going, right? You can follow their mouse. You can see our homepage is, this long, let's just say 10 inches, just to illustrate, and they're only scrolling 5 inches down. Well, everything below that 5 inches mark, if 60% of your people only scroll halfway down, then they're missing all that content down below. Maybe that video that you put on your website that you're like, yes, I'm doing this video, it's on my website now. Maybe 60% of people aren't seeing it because it's too far down. Let's move it to the top. Let's make that the first thing they see, front and center, right? This can have a huge impact. It can move you from 2 to 4%, as an example. Mobile friendliness, right? This is big. Google considers this in their rankings as well, but what if your site isn't mobile friendly and I have to do this thing, right, with my thumb and finger to try to zoom in? That can impact your conversion. Your site speed, we just mentioned that. What are your unique selling propositions? What are your differentiators? Do you even list that? Or are you just saying, yeah, we do roofs, right? This kind of a thing. Is it easy to navigate? Can they find what they're looking for? Do you have call to actions? And just telling them, if you don't ask sometimes, then you're not going to get an answer, right? So just asking them to fill out a form or something could be enough for a certain individual to get them to take that action. Trust signals, social proof, your reviews, display them on your website, right? Badges that you have, certifications, all this type of a thing, featured on Forbes, this and that. As soon as I see Forbes, doesn't matter who you are, I have some level of increased trust for you, right? This type of a thing. Bounce rates. They came from a certain ad campaign that you're targeting them to the website, and then 60% of people are just leaving. Something's wrong there, right? So you can pay attention to that. User flow, where are they navigating through your site? Is it the pages you want them to arrive to? Where are they leaving your site, etc., as they navigate? So that's what I have. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you learned something about how to build a strong online foundation and convert more. Are there any questions that anybody has? Please feel free to write those in the chat. If not, that's fine. I'll consider my job well done if nobody asks any questions. I answered everything in that case. But while you're considering maybe asking some questions, we'll stay on for a few more minutes to answer those. Let us know which of these extra resources you would like. Maybe a recording of this webinar. We'll send it to you. You can watch it again, share it with your friends, share it with your coworker. Copy of the presentation, we'll send that as well. Even a free follow-up call with me or someone on my team to talk about your specific situation, right? Aaron just chatted the link again to the Google form that we created with all the questions that we've been asking and answering along the way. The last question number 7, as Aaron pointed out there, says, which of these extra resources would you like? You can only pick one. No, you can pick one or all 3 of them. And then there's just a short, name, email, company name at least, and if you want, you can share your phone number with us. But yeah, we'd love to share these resources with you, and if you want to have a further conversation, we're all about it. Thrive Agency, we've been around 15 years. We started just with Matt Bowman, who's on this call, just a single person company in spare bedroom, right? And we've grown to 140, 150 people on our team now. And big part of our growth has just been with month-to-month engagements as we help people without any contracts, and they stay with us because they're seeing the results. So there's a lot of good free information in here. Hopefully you can take and apply it, but we'd even love to help you as an agency. So just we'll stay on maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, give someone a chance to ask a question if they want. Of course, fill out the form and we'll answer 100 questions that you have in another meeting if you want that. But we'll just see if anyone had any questions on what was presented. Okay, I just assume all of you want to, or whoever's interested, maybe just want to have a further conversation with me or someone on my team, and we're happy to have that with you. Thank you all for attending. Really appreciate you taking some time out of your day, and stay safe with the shelter in place. And yeah, have a good day. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.